today we got to play Colbert, the Great Card Game. So this was actually a Christmas gift from last year to Randy from me. I couldn't find the actual
Actually,
Colbert.
I think this was a gift from me to me because you couldn't find the original Colbert, and so I went out and found this. You were going to buy this.
I bought it. Oh, but then I remember I bought it on Amazon. It never got here. They canceled the order.
I went out and bought it and ordered it myself.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Well, I tried.
Yeah.
So regardless, we finally got out to play it, and because we couldn't find the original, so we started playing tonight. But before we get into talking about this game, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you love board games and you want to hang out with us. Don't forget, we'll be at Gen Con next week, and hope that you'll find us and play a game with us. Some winner. If you beat us in a game, you'll get a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
As long as supplies last.
If you can better pronounce words than us.
Tonight is not it's not my night for pronunciation, it seems. I don't know, I'm just tripping over my own words. I was talking a lot of work today. So, Randy, tell us more about this particular game.
All right, so this was released in 2016. It's got a Board Game Geek rank of 1575. The rating on it is 7.1 currently. 2 to 4 player game, average length of 50 to 80 minutes. I think we were on the low end of that, I think, but we were playing 2 player.
Well, we were playing 2, and we knew we got the riz.
And it was age 10 and up. The designers were Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer. We've got several games for those 2 designed.
Mm-hmm.
Art is Dennis Lohausen. It was published by Eggert Spiel and Stronghold Games.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk about quality of pieces. There's cards.
Yeah, lots of cards.
No linen finish, but no. I think they're okay
they're okay as far as thickness, but there's no texture to them.
Yeah, there's no linen finish, no texture
and
to
you do shuffle at least. Well, you don't shuffle the monies, but you're moving them around, shuffling across the table.
Well, I had a really
all of the items.
I'll be honest. This has to be sleeved. I had problems picking this up. I think I messed up a few of the cards because of just picking them up. Not
especially
on purpose.
When you throw them on the floor.
But, so other than that, so card quality is kind of average. But then you also have got your little bit of player board here. It's very small and concise. And really all it's doing...
It has to be because you're going to be taking up a lot of table with cards.
Yeah, it meets a function. So with that quality of pieces, I would probably give this a 5.5. I mean, I don't see this.
I'm not sure it deserves a half. I think it's just a 5. There's nothing above Catan quality here. I mean, it's cardboard bits and cards.
Yeah. So let's talk about actual theme. So you're a coal baron, and you're trying to mine coal, build trains, get them shipped off to different locations, to ships, to factories, to warehouses, all these different kind of things to make sure that you get the most victory points. It looks like sort of like a money icon. Not really sure, but that's the goal. I like the theme. I'm very much. I like the whole merchant kind of thing, and I like being able to collect resources and sending them out. So this is totally up my game.
There's no backstory. It's just completely layered on, but it fits the mechanisms of the games.
Correct.
So, as far as without having a story, I can't give it too high of a score as far as any kind of.
So what would you give it a score?
Probably a 6, just because it does really effectively integrate the theme of coal shipping into the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that. A 6 is fine. I mean, there's nothing heavy on it. I will say, but this is also where art is. I like the art. It seems very Coal Baron-esque. It's kind of dark and dingy, but at the same time, hello, it's coal. Like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
So with that, I think the art is actually fantastic for this. If anything, I'd almost give this a 6.5 because I really like the art. I think the theme for the art really meshes well, but like you said, there is no story, and you're just doing some coal. So let's talk about rules. How was the rules, Randy?
The rulebook is actually really well done. It doesn't have a cover page, but it's 8 pages long, and it's a simple read because it's the gameplay is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So it goes through its sections, each of the different decks of cards, and what you can do with that by playing your actions there. And it's then goes through the scoring. That's really all you have to have. there's no cheat sheets, but you don't need one in this game. There's no real need for a cheat sheet. It does have a score pad, which takes care of, like, shows you the imagery, but doesn't tell you how to score. So you have to at least know the rules well enough to score. So we did have to get the rule book out for that. So because of the fact that there's not, they could have put a cheat sheet together for the scoring. I think that's probably the only thing you need it for. I'll give it an 8.5 because of the fact that it's done well. I just wish it had that, some way where you didn't have to keep getting it out to check the scoring at the end.
Yeah. So let's talk about actual gameplay. So gameplay is actually straightforward. You have, we've got this actually in our last round. So you have all of, here, take that one. We'll play this one here in a minute. All right. So you basically have a hand of cards. Obviously, we kind of mid-process there. So during your turn, whoever's turn it is, you have to exactly write +1 to starting out with 1 somewhere on the board. So for an example, these are all the different locations that you can get. You can get actual coal. Notice that the coals have different signias on them. Those will be used to be, that's the only one you can place the cars in. And then you can actually get rail cars. This one's actually a wild rail car. It has all the 4 icons on here. But like this one only has a red icon on it. So you can only put red coal in this iron car when you go to create it. So you can pick up those. You can also get the train engine. Now, as soon as you put the train engine at the beginning of your train, you can no longer add any more train cars. So kind of being aware of that, you kind of want the length of your train correct. These are actually the missions. So this gives you victory points on different trains. So like in this particular train, you need to have 4 coal going to the factory down below. Now, how do you know it's going to the factory? You just assume it's going to the factory. But there are bonus cards that allow you to get additional points when it goes to the factory. So an example would be this purple card here. So if you have this purple card at some point during the game, it has that factory here. That rail car is worth additional 3 victory points because you've got this stop.
Yeah, if you complete the order at the end of the game, you can attach that.
Yes. So that's at the end, you attach all the purples to the appropriate trains that you shipped off. Okay, so so that's what the purples are. So the next card here is these cards here. They give you an additional free action depending based on that. Like this one gives you free coal to put onto an automatic train. This lets you ship an additional train of your choice. So basically, it's just a free action. It's and which might be helpful, like if you reveal something, to be able to automatically use that to take what you revealed. I use those multiple times throughout the game. These are end of game scoring points. So for example, this one, if you've completed 5 different rail cars worth of missions to this particular location, then you get an additional 4 victory points. Some are just like 2 for any of these purple cards that you have. So there's a bunch of different
specific types of purple cards.
Yeah. So depending on your end of game scoring, so these are just end of game scoring bonuses. Then so when you pick up coal, they go into your slot here. Okay. And if you'll notice, there are 3 sections that you can have 3 rail cars that you're building or 3 trains that you're building at any given time. So basically, as you gain coal from the coal location, they go in these slots here. You have to put them on the train in the order that they slot in, unless you spend an action to move them down to your warehouse, and at any point you can move those that are in the warehouse on those trains. But it does take an extra movement, so it's not as good. So you just want to make sure you line up your coal in the appropriate way. That way you're not using extra actions. Because let me tell you something, these movement actions, it's the next 2 spots that we're going to talk about, to move your coal onto your train. Those get pretty limited, especially towards the end of the game, because everyone's trying to get their coal onto their trains and shipped out before the end of the game. So those get pretty heavily filled quite quickly. So losing an action trying to put that into your warehouse kind of hurts. And then the final one is actually shipping your train. So once your train is complete, you can go to this card here and do that as well.
Not quite final one. They got one more.
Yeah. Then the last one is this one. There already is a 1 played, so you have to play a 2 here. First, you can pick 4 cards of any of the pile, choose 1, and discard the rest. So that's kind of nice if you're searching for one particular thing. Oh, like I really need a bonus card for this, or oh, I'm looking for a mission with this particular thing on it. So that can be very, very beneficial. So basically, we kind of went over those action items. So then you basically take your cards. For example, I have a 1 or 2. So I can go to any space that doesn't have anything on it because I can use my 1 there. So I could get a mission card, okay? If I wanted to. Now I've got this 2 here. So first Randy would take his turn, but we're going to wait because you can't place it right now. Sorry.
What do you mean I can't place it?
Okay, we'll play something.
All right. So I could play and take one of these train cars.
Okay, because you got a 2. Okay. So
but when you're playing a train car, they have symbols that match the symbols on the car. So you have to line them up with what, basically, if you think of these as like companies of railroads, that's the insignia for that company. So you have to only go on specific rails there for that
And
company.
notice, though, what we kind of didn't talk about, like, so this was a 2. He could not put this on a space that didn't have anything. You have to put a 2 on top of a 1.
You have to increment up by 1 each time.
Yes. So
now you can combine cards. You can play a 1 and a 2 to be a 3, or you can play a 3. But your cards in your hand are 1, 2s, and 3s. But you've got mostly 1s. You got 2 2s and 1 3, and you're
So just kind of being aware, because like at one point you had a 2 and nowhere to take it.
Yeah, because there weren't any. Well, I think it was a 3.
Oh, 3. Sorry.
No 2s.
So,
There were no 2s out, and I had a 3, and I couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah. So just kind of keep that in mind. So so I have a 2, right? So I'll end up moving my coal onto my board. So that's kind of the synopsis of the game a little bit. Also, there's starting player tokens that they end up, if you're the last one placing at this particular location, you get the first player marker. Token. Yeah, the first player token. They're worth victory points at the end of the game, depending on how many you get throughout the different rounds. And those are also your timer aspect. So overall, I actually really like this card game. It's a theme that I really enjoyed. I liked building my little thing. There's definitely some strategy of trying to make sure you get the right coal into the right bins and trying to make sure like you can get all these bonuses. That was very helpful. You still beat me. I didn't like it. I don't even know how because I thought I was doing really good. Yeah, but you didn't beat me by much.
It's
like
5-point game, 69-64.
So, yeah, so it wasn't that bad as far as space equivalents, but I really, really enjoyed it. I think my favorite part of this game was like all of it. I like building the trains. I like doing this. It is a lighter game, I don't think. It's not a hefty game. It's a light game. It's very short. It's very concise. I think this is a good little fun in-between game. I wouldn't want to play this if I want something crunchy, but for something light, this is definitely something I would play.
It makes me wish I could have gotten Colbert in the
I know.
game.
That's what I'm like, where's the actual Colbert game? I want to be all up in that.
I mean, I don't know how much it varies from the card game, but yeah, I like this one. I'm hoping it's a little meatier, but I don't know. It could be. And it could be the same.
So if you guys had it, if you guys played it, let us know. We're dying to know. Is Colbert an actual board game? Is it something that we're going to have to hunt down? Because so far, I would say
probably going to hunt it down anyway. But yeah,
depending on how much it costs.
If I let that stop me in the past, no, I wouldn't spend a fortune for it. But I do think it's worth tracking down and seeing if I can find a good, decent price on it. But yeah, I like the mechanisms of this game. It's it's not. I like we played Keyflower the other day, and I like the mechanisms of that. This has some elements of that in the sense like you're playing the workers, and then you have to increment it up from there. This one's a hard increment, though. The other one you could put as many as you wanted above the other person. This one you have to increment by 1. So
that actually was kind of annoying.
Well, but it's a neat little strategy mechanism and the fact that you can combine your 1s with stuff.
Yeah, but I always try to use my 1s first, and then I ended up having trouble placing.
Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Well, but
maybe that's why I got 5 points more than you did, because you used all your 1s first.
Well, that's because I wanted to do as many actions as possible.
Yeah, well, I was more worried about getting the actions I needed.
Well, I did get the actions I needed. Obviously, not enough of them.
But yeah, I mean, it's neat. You have to plan ahead because I mean, you want to get the train cars when they have the matching symbols to what you need.
I know you kept taking all the wilds.
One thing that was a neat thing that we didn't mention is when you do take an engine, if the engines are different colors too, and if you trigger the delivery action, you can trigger that for all the trains that have the same color engine.
Yeah.
So if you can plan strategically, you can take less actions to make your deliveries. So that's pretty cool. So you also can build your train as long as you want it to be, but it's going to ship with everything that's on it. at the end of the game, there's two kinds of coal. There's the ones with 2 on them, and then there's ones that have 1. The ones with 1 are the only ones that are worth victory points. But it's going to take you longer to meet orders with coal of 1. And the orders have different sizes too. You can get sizes from anywhere from 2 up to 4.
There was one. There was a 1.
There was a 1. Okay.
There was a 1.
But the more the coal that's in the order, the more it's worth.
See?
Yep. So yeah, I mean it's got a lot going for it for being a relatively small box game. It's not a real small box, and it does have a neat storage mechanism on the inside. It's not real sturdy, but it's not bad. It divides up all your stacks, so when you put it away, you don't have to worry about cards being mixed and mingled. So,
okay, score.
I think I'm going to give it an 8. I mean, for being a smallish box game, that's a pretty good score for it. I think there's not a lot of meat beyond that, but it's meatier than what you get in a typical game that you can play 2-player out of a small box.
Yeah, I'm good with an 8. I'm being pushed for. Yeah, I'm okay with an 8. I'm okay with an 8. I feel good at an 8. I definitely thought it was fun. I definitely want to play this again. I want to beat you because that's just annoying me. Because I thought I was on a roll. But I think if I played it again, I'd probably play it a little bit differently. I kind of let you have too many wild trains there.
I did get a lot of those.
Yeah, I know. So, but anyway, all right, guys. Well, we had an absolute blast. Hopefully you guys did too. Hopefully you will come and join us again. Hopefully we'll see you guys at Gen Con. We would love to get to know everybody. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.